we possibly be getting a Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire returning and Sam Raimi to return to direct? Will the Batman Part 2 co-writer, Mattson Tomlin, teases a little something about where he would like to take the story for a Spider-Man 4. We'll get into the details. Also, the Russo brothers share this cryptic photo of onset of the Avengers Doomsday. Nobody knows what they're talking about. It says look hard. Everybody's trying to dissect every single frame. It's absolutely nothing. Also, Daniel RPK is dropping some nice little tidbits about Avengers Doomsday, about two particular characters that might be showing up, which is really interesting. And also, we get a first reveal of the logo for Scream 7. How exciting. Hitting theaters February 27th of 2026. Now, let's jump into the meat and the potatoes of the video. Now, Mattson Tomlin. He's co-writing the Batman Part 2, which a lot of people are super stoked about. We've heard nothing but great things from the cast when it comes to the script for the Batman Part 2. Now, he talks Spider-Man 4. Apparently, he's been trying to get in contact with Sam Raimi about making and writing Spider-Man 4. He's also previously said that he wants to write a story where Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is juggling between being a husband and a father. If I were Sony, I would absolutely try to greenlight this farewell last Spider-Man film for Tobey Maguire. Now, we don't know what kind of story his character is going to get in Doomsday and Secret Wars. Nobody knows how he's going to wrap this up for his career. Because obviously, after Secret Wars, you don't think that Tobey Maguire is ever going to be returning to play Spider-Man again. But if Sony decided to do one last Logan-style ending for Tobey Maguire, then by all means, how hyped would that be? Especially if they kind of, give it that ending that Logan had, that had us devastated, heartbroken. But then 5 years later, Hugh Jackman returned as Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine. How funny is that? But I don't think that's the case with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. It seems like he's pretty serious about this, and he has ideas, plots, story, characters, everything designed for a Spider-Man 4, and he wants Sam Raimi on board to possibly direct. They were literally days away from shooting Spider-Man 4 before Sony pulled the plug, which is really unfortunate, really unfortunate. But if they were going to go something along the lines of Peter Parker being a husband and a father, struggling, ending out his days as Spider-Man, you got to give him one last battle with Green Goblin. I mean, can you imagine? We were robbed in Spider-Man No Way Home. The fact that we did not get to see these two characters interact was absolutely devastating and heartbreaking. I mean, come on. It's Spider-Man and the Green Goblin from the first film. Arguably one of the best comic book fights of all time. So badass. So if they're going to do something along those lines, and we don't know who Sadie Sink and what her character is going to be in Spider-Man A Brand New Day. Nobody knows. Some people are speculating she could be Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man's daughter. It kind of could deal with a multiverse element of it, but still a street level story. So if they decided to do something like that and give, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man one last hoo-ha going up against possibly like Dr. Kirk Connors, the Lizard, which I would love. They never really did pay that off with Tobey Maguire's, Spider-Man films. That would be quite fascinating. I know there's a comic book, there's a storyline of Spider-Man where he fights the Green Goblin, or it's like the Hobgoblin, and he ends up, accidentally cutting off his arm and his leg, forcing him to retire from the role of Spider-Man. I would love something along those lines. That sounds dark. That sounds absolutely like an ending that Tobey Maguire Spider-Man would end up having. That would be awesome. And especially if his daughter's going to be taking up the mantle, that would be quite interesting. But you got to get Kirsten Dunst back. You got to get the entire cast back for a potential Spider-Man 4. Moving on, you guys, the Russo brothers, like I said, shared this cryptic photo of the set of Avengers Doomsday. There's not really much to talk about. Honestly, it's not much. I'm not going to dissect this and see, what do they look hard at what? It's just a whole bunch of blah, blah, and somebody sitting down in a chair. It's whatever. The Russo brothers building hype for Avengers Doomsday, but this isn't really, building the hype for me. I'm hyped regardless because it's freaking Doomsday. Moving on to the next topic, you guys. Daniel RPK is reporting some interesting reports. So, Ghost Rider is reportedly set to have a cameo in Avengers Doomsday. Now, we don't know which Ghost Rider this could be. Could this be the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the Bobby Reyes, or could this be Nicolas Cage, Johnny Blaze, or could this be a whole new variant of Ghost Rider who could potentially play Ghost Rider further down the line in the MCU, possibly join up, with the Midnight Suns and Blade and those supernatural characters. It's going to be interesting. Nicolas Cage came back as Superman. Didn't like it. He was like, what did we shoot? He was like, whatever I shot with you guys on the set of The Flash, it got scrapped. Like, it was all CGI. It was absolutely abysmal, terrible. So he has a bad feeling in his mouth already when it comes to this comic book shit. But he's also starring in the Spider-Man Noir series on Amazon Prime next year, which is really exciting. I would love to see Nicolas Cage come back for a small, brief cameo appearance as Ghost Rider. I still enjoy those first 2 Ghost Rider films. They're a lot of fun. Yeah, they're kind of corny, but they're a good time. That's what we got back then. And, we didn't have that much. We had the earlier X-Men films, the Fantastic Four films, the Spider-Man stuff. The comic book genre just wasn't a massive juggernaut like what it is today. It's shifted. It's so different. But that would be pretty interesting. And also, he states that Chris Evans is reportedly set to play a major role in the story for Doomsday. Now, you guys remember those reports a couple of weeks ago or like a month ago about how Steve Rogers returning the Infinity Stones and living the life he's always wanted to live with Peggy ended up causing incursions that killed Dr. Doom's family? With Daniel RPK kind of stating this, maybe this is true because you would have a major storyline if you were a big part of Dr. Doom's main motive, creating those incursions and accidentally killing Doom's family. That is going to be really interesting. I hope they don't kill my boy Chris Evans off. Come on, don't. I miss me some Captain America. I miss me some Steve freaking Rogers. But I'm excited, man. Just to see Chris Evans back in the MCU, you guys, is going to feel so poetic. It's going to feel it's going to feel right? It's going to feel absolutely awesome to see him as Captain America or even as old Steve Man Rogers, something along those lines. Fans are yearning. We want it absolutely. And to close out the video, you guys, we got the official logo for Scream 7. Like I said, releases next year in February. Hopefully, it's been rumored that the first trailer is supposed to drop within the next up and coming weeks. I'm stoked to see where they're going to take the story with Sidney Prescott now leading the charge, with like returning characters like Stu Macher. Curious to see how he's going to play and what role he's going to have in this particular Scream film. I know down in my mind, it's definitely going to be a very interesting take. It's going to be a very confusing take to some people because now you're bringing back a lot of these dead characters, that have already been established to be dead, within the universe. But I'm hyped. I can't wait for Scream. Scream has been the most consistent franchise with continuity and quality-wise out of any horror figure, dating back to the 90s and 80s slashers. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about today's topics. Let me know what you guys think about, the Russo brothers teasing something for Avengers Doomsday. Could we get a teaser soon? And what do you think about a possible Spider-Man 4 in the works with the Batman writer alongside a Sam Raimi? Thoughts and opinions, let me hear in the comments down below. And of course, thank you guys for taking time out of your day for watching SeaWorld Productions. Peace.